Hi, I'm Hazel. It is almost Saturday, so it's time for a new vlog. This week, the other day, patch 7.2 finally hit the background downloader, which means that it is high time for some patch date speculation. So, based on a couple of different pieces of info, I am guessing the 27th for a strong likelihood of being the patch date, closely followed by the 3rd after that. My reasons for that are, A, it's on the background downloader, so I'd highly doubt it's more than like 3 weeks out. 4 seems like a bit of a stretch, just based on the timeline that we've seen before. Secondly, the end of Legion Season 2 PvP. Wow, those words are not in the right order at all. But the end of the current PvP season has been left kind of nebulous. Typically, they'll do an end of season announcement, which they've done, and typically that announcement is a 2 weeks notice. But in this case, it's actually, and they clarified this on Twitter, that it's a soon. And they confirmed that while they do not have a final date, it definitely wasn't the 14th, which obviously has already passed, or the 21st, which means that the first day that the season could end would be on the 28th. And I have a feeling that the reason that they are delaying the end of the season is to try and line it up with a new patch. They, of course, have obviously in the past stated that the seasons are not going to be tied to patches. They will do the seasons whenever it feels right to do the seasons. But in this particular case, there's a couple of reasons why it makes more sense for them to tie the new season to patch 7.2. One of them is just because they are in the same ballpark, and there are some class changes in 7.2, so as opposed to having like 2 weeks of a season in this patch and then all of a sudden it shifts over, it's a bit of a cleaner transition to attach it to the patch date. Secondly, the Season 3 PvP gear is recolors of the Tomb of Sargeras raid tier stuff, and that gear is actually in the patch files for 7.2. It is not actually in the game as it stands right now, so the 7.2 patch needs to hit in order for us to access that gear, or they can hotfix it in, but that seems unlikely. And then the last thing is, but back, if you scroll back like a month or two, or whenever it was that we had that whole 54 traits active in PvP debacle, what they had said at that time was they of course backtracked and re-disabled the 54 artifact trait point in PvP, but they said that when Season 3 comes out, that is going to be enabled, so you should, have your artifact done by then. But in development on 7.2, between that point and now, we went from having that 54 trait, sort of Paragon trait thing, to having a redesigned artifact that has a bunch of extra traits in different places. And it would be an awkward situation if they release the season before the patch, because you have this thing where, okay, do they turn on the 54 traits and then the patch hits and then those 54 traits are refunded and then you respend the points? Or do they just have 7.2 hit? We go through all the artifact changes all at once, and then it I don't know. I feel like there's a strong chance that they are tying the PvP season to the patch date, and I feel like the season end / patch date, best guess is going to be the 28th, and if it is not the 28th, it is almost certainly on the 3rd. If it is any later than that, then I am extraordinarily wrong. And that's just based on the state of the content on 7.2. I did a bunch of, I did Cathedral of Eternal Night, I did some of the Broken Shore questing. Things are starting to look kind of done. They're obviously not completely finalized yet, and they're going to be going through some iteration these last couple of weeks, but I think that we are in an appropriate stage in the PTR for approximately 2 or 3 weeks out from release. Something to keep in mind when talking about patch 7.2 release. You might be all like, no, we just got Nighthold, you can't drop Tomb of Sargeras on us just yet. And it's true, they can't, and they probably won't. The Tomb of Sargeras is not tied. The release of the raid is not tied to the release of the patch. They're going to drop 7.2, and then whenever they feel that it's appropriate for us to be going into Tomb of Sargeras, then they're going to open it. Those two things are not connected. Even though 2 may not be done, it doesn't have to be done in order for them to release the patch. So, those are my speculations. What else? The Unguro Madness mini micro holiday is up. It is today until the 19th, so it's like a 2-day micro holiday. I believe the dinosaur mobs in Unguro Crater have been scaled up to max level, and there's some buffs going on. It's just regular micro holiday stuff, so there's nothing you have to do, there's nothing you have to collect, but if you're bored in WoW over the next day or two, definitely go over to Unguro Crater and check out what's happening. The reason why they moved up to date is to make it somewhere in the ballpark of the release of the next Hearthstone expansion, which is Return to Unguro. Having said that, the Hearthstone expansion is not out yet. when you have card packs for Return to Ungro, they say available mid-April, which we are like a month away from still. So I'm a little confused why they changed the date and made it so much earlier than the Hearthstone release date. You'd think they would have tried to line that up a little bit better if that's what they were going to do, because the mechanics of the Ungro Madness WoW micro holiday appear to be quite similar. Like, it appears to be very promotional towards the Hearthstone thing. There's like a buff that kind of mimics the whole new adapt mechanic that they're bringing to Hearthstone. So that's that. Anyways, I'm probably going to check that out a little bit on stream this afternoon, because I have not swung by there yet, but dinosaurs are always fun. Yesterday, we had another one of those dev Q&As. It's really nice to see those. I really enjoy the transparency that they're bringing with those. I do think that the reason we've been having them every week is in the lead up to the patch. This is kind of patch promotional material, kind of, and also sort of trying to help us understand why they've made the decisions that they're making for 7.2. I think that's why we're getting them every week. I don't think we're going to be getting them every week forever, once we're like healthily into the middle of the patch cycle. But anyways, yesterday's was itemizations. They were talking a lot about stats and stat weights and gear distribution and trinkets and set bonuses and all that sort of stuff. Your best bet if you missed that is to go to like MMO Champion or Wowhead and read their write-up. They've got like the Clips Notes versions, or of course you can just watch a VOD of the whole thing. The one thing that they talked a little bit about this Q&A, and they've also mentioned it in the past, is that one of their goals for legendaries is as you get more and more legendaries, they want you to have some choices to make as to which ones you want to wear. So they think it's okay for you to have a couple different legendaries, and maybe you like these ones for this fight, or these ones for this fight, or in this fight you're going to do this role, which would really be good with this legendary, and they want you to be able to do that. And while that sounds really great at first, I was thinking about that, and if I have 5 legendaries, and I use all of them during different fights, I then have to have a minimum of 5 extra pieces of gear in my bags that I switch out for those legendaries, so that if I take it off, I have something to put on in its place. And I think it would actually end up being a lot more than that if I'm trying to be optimal, because of the way that legendaries can change your stat weights. Maybe if I'm wearing these legendaries, I want to have these pants and this ring and this helmet, but once I switch that legendary out, I want these ones with these stats. Of course, not all classes are going to be that complicated, and a lot of people may not care to that level, but I'm concerned about if you have that many legendaries and you're switching them out to be optimal, in order to be optimal and have like actually correct stats in your gear, it's going to be better for you to have just a huge bag full of gear. And I'm sure you can set up equipment sets and be like, this is my Croesus, this is my Croesus equipment, and this is my Elisand equipment, and this is what I wear for Gul'dan, and just have it swap all that out. But it's really awkward design for you to have all of that extra gear in your bag. So hopefully that's a concern of mine that's not actually a thing, and that I'm somehow misled in some way. And you wouldn't need to have any extra gear besides what you would actually switch over those legendaries. But at the core of it all, I'm really lazy, and I have a habit of disenchanting gear that I'm not wearing, even if I might need it again. So I'm very concerned about having to carry around extra stuff, and then be like, oh man, I'm not wearing that. I have a legendary in that slot DE, and then I have to switch out my legendary, and it goes, whoops, I don't have anything to put on my feet. Another thing that's just like a tweet or a blue post or something that went out, not a big deal, but something I actually didn't know. So you know how in 7.2 there is going to be additional reputation available to be earned for the Legion factions, and there's like some rewards, there's like mounts and stuff. So you'll be able to go out and get more Valorhar rep, more High Mountain rep, like whatever. So what I've been doing, and a lot of my guildies have been doing this as well, is whenever you do like a Kirin Tor quest and you get a rep token, I've just been sticking it in my bank for later. Apparently, according to this blue post, existing rep tokens from the current patch will not grant rep beyond Exalted, so I am absolutely wasting my time. I need to go clean out my bank, because apparently those will not do me any good, so there is no point in holding on to like Nightfall and rep tokens, the extra ones you get from the Kirin Tor thing. Just don't worry about it. If you already have them all exalted, there is no more progress you're going to be able to do on that until after 7.2, so nice to know. Okay, so regarding this afternoon's live stream, I have an appointment in town today that's late this afternoon, so I'm moving the stream up an hour so that I'm not late for that. So I'm going to be streaming 2 to 4 p.m. instead of 3 to 5 p.m. It's still going to be the YouTube live stream. I'm probably going to swing by the Ungoro event, check that out, and then maybe do like some world quests and pet battle PvP, the normal stuff. It's always nice to sit and have some tea and chat with you guys in that live stream. So I hope to see some of you there, and I hope the time change doesn't ruin anybody's day. Questions from this week. Ward Eagle asks, Hazel, what is your rating in twos? Do you have a twos partner, and do you play twos? So my current twos rating on my main druid, I'm 2185. Most seasons I tend to get to about 2.2, and then I lose interest. I exclusively play twos with my friend Flabby. I don't really play twos with anybody else. I barely enjoy twos when it's with Flabby, and it's usually just something that we're doing for hanging out, and I want to play arena, but we don't really want to find somebody for threes, or if I just want some practice and to work through like a specific issue I'm having. So I don't excessively enjoy twos, and I am not looking for any additional twos partners because I barely play with the one that I have. And then Brandon asks, Hazel, I need to know, what's your average DPS against Heroic Gul'dan? I'm an arcane mage and I feel like I'm lacking. So the first thing I'm going to say here is a caveat that while Shadow Priest should be very good on Gul'dan, I myself tend to take it upon myself to be a mechanic babysitter. So that means that every time somebody needs being broken out of the chains, I'm going to do that. Every time I need to run across the map to try and get in the soul world to observe souls, I'm going to do that. Every time I need to stop doing damage and start shadow mending people because one of our healers fell off the edge, I'm going to do that. So I have a lot of downtime on Heroic Gul'dan because I am babysitting mechanics just to try and give us an extra chance of killing it, though I don't have a lot of uptime. Anyways, with that said, enough excuses. On my last week's Gul'dan kill, I did an average of 533k DPS. Throughout the entire guild, our bottom end was doing closer to 400k, our top end was doing closer to 800k, based on all sorts of stuff. But like I said, I am babysitting mechanics, and I also get picked for the fire like every single time. So I do have a lot of downtime, but that's about what I'm doing. If you are concerned about your raid DPS on any given fight, the best thing that you can do is to log your raid and then go review it on Warcraft logs. So unfortunately, I can't exactly tell you how to log because my guild leader does it for us. If anybody in your guild logs, definitely go through those logs. Otherwise, maybe I'll look up how to do this so I can like make a guide about how to actually make your own logs. But anyways, you want to log your raid, you want to go through your Warcraft logs, and you want to look at rankings and bracket percentage is really good because that will show you how you are performing relative to other people of your spec. And of your item level bracket. So there's like a 4 to 5 item level bracket, and you can see how other arcane mages of your item level are doing on that fight. And then if you want, you can actually go look at top guilds and look at their arcane mage and be like, man, that guy does really, really good. I'm going to see you have all sorts of data on Warcraft logs about like the kind of spells he's casting, the adds that he's, like the amount of damage he's putting into adds versus the boss. All sorts of really detailed info, so you can get some really good tips out of that. But yeah, my best advice if you are concerned about your DPS in any given fight is to go through some logs. I use Warcraft logs for that a lot. Anyways, that has been my week. If you have any questions you would like answered on the vlog, just leave them as comments on the most recent vlog. I hope to see some of you this afternoon in the moved up live stream, 2 to 4 p.m., not 3 to 5 p.m. just this week because of my appointment. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.